Today we got the one and only Hunter Dickinson on the pod. Hunter, man, I appreciate it. Welcome to the pod.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you said you've been in Ann Arbor since July 1, taking classes and working out. How's the workouts been going? How's the team looking?
Workouts have been really good. We got a kind of new team. We got a lot of freshmen, and then we got Devontae transferring in. So we got some new faces. So it's good to, have everybody in one gym working out, getting to know each other, getting to know each other's tendencies and stuff like that, building that chemistry that we'll need for the end of the season, that run.
Yeah, you guys are no strangers to incorporating new guys, fifth-year guys. It's not your first rodeo with that. So it seems like something that you guys can kind of just pick up from last year, kind of, right?
Yeah, Coach Howard does a really good job of, getting a lot of new faces accustomed to, the culture that we have at Michigan and making sure everybody's up to speed on, offensive and defensive sets and terminologies and stuff like that. He does a really good job of, slowing everything down and making sure everybody knows the details of everything.
How's my guy John Sanderson doing?
Sam Man's doing really well. He's having fun with us. He loves what he does. He's having really fun. Like on Fridays, we usually try to do something outside of the weight room. So he's had a lot of fun, coming up with new and different ideas on how to get us better, strength wise.
You guys were pushing Jeeps? Was that yesterday or a couple of days ago?
Yeah,
What were you guys doing?
yeah. He just got a new Jeep. He's been really excited about it. He's been telling us all about it. And then we had Chase's Jeep as well. And so I wasn't there. I was with my grandparents. They had an anniversary, so I was down in Florida. But the team seemed like they had a lot of fun. I know Sandman had a lot of fun.
You got to ask when you see him again. You got to ask him about his old Blazer. I think it was green, but if he first got the Michigan job, he was like, "Yeah, I don't." They would offer me a car, but I was like, "I'd rather just add it to my salary and my maybe to the pension or something." He's like, "I don't need a new car," and finally, apparently, he got one.
Yeah.
He's a funny character. Now, you mentioned working with him as one of the reasons that you picked Michigan. Like, how has that been for you with your development? And it's super tough during the year to really develop athleticism when the season's going on. But how's that been with his program since the season was over, and even before freshman year?
It's been great. I mean, obviously you can tell from, when I first got here to now, I look totally different. I got to give a lot of credit to Sandman. He does a really good job of, developing our bodies. He has us for a lot, like, a year or so. And so for him, he tries to just really push us. And I really appreciate how he really pushes me. He's always doing extra stuff with me after lifts and stuff like that to, just give me even more right and try to develop my body as much as he can because he knows that that's something that's really important for me for right now and then also beyond in my career. And so, I'm trying to just get as much as I can out of him, trying to just do as much as I can while I'm here with him because I know he's really good and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, whenever he said extra stuff after workouts, that always scared the hell out of me. Like, what exactly are you guys doing extra?
A lot of shoulder stuff, shoulder mobility and shoulder stability, making sure my shoulders are really strong because, in the season, you're throwing around your body and you don't want those to get hurt. Extra lateral and jumping stuff like, for my hips and getting my hips stronger and just moving faster laterally, like with bands and stuff like that, with some resistance. And then just more, I would say, quad stuff, getting my legs stronger is something that he's really focused on um, this summer.
Where have you seen your biggest improvement physically?
I would say with my upper body, my legs were, I think, the biggest improvement last year. I could really tell my legs got a lot bigger and stronger. And then this year, I think like my upper body's gotten a lot stronger. My shoulders and my arms and stuff like that just look way bigger. I think my legs are starting to get a little bit bigger too. And so I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm just trying to continue with my hips and, my lateral quickness and stuff like that.
Yeah, always key, always key. I want to get into some of last year's season, and I remember talking to Coach Washington, and talking about you in the beginning of practice, and everyone knew you were talented. But when the lights came on, when that game started, you turned into a real gamer, and really turned it up a notch. Like, when did you what were your expectations coming into the season, and when did you kind of know that you could come in and really dominate a game, in the Big Ten or even just in college basketball?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, like I think during like especially last year at the beginning, I would say I wasn't really much of a practice player at the start of my career. That's kind of I probably picked up that habit from high school. I was kind
Sure.
of I was kind of a little lazy in practice, and then when the game um, came up, then that's when I kind of turned everything on. But I kind of had to learn at Michigan that you kind of had to turn it on in practice and in the games, and so that's something that I struggled with at first, but I think I really improved as the season went on. And then I think when we played Penn State, and then Austin Davis got hurt,
Hmm.
and I I don't know how many points I had, but it was like a good amount, and I realized like if I can do that against a Big Ten team, um, I think I'm capable of doing that on a nightly basis because I don't think I was doing anything special. And so that's kind of when I first realized that, maybe I can do some with my freshman year.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, were you obviously you're a big dude, 7'1", 7'2", like you've been double teamed before, but were you expecting that so early on in the Big Ten year?
Uh, no, I wasn't expecting it so early on. Probably towards the end of the season, I would, say, but to have it during the beginning of the season, I guess, helped me in a way because, when the NCAA tournament hit, that's all I faced was double and triple teams. So I
Yeah.
think, going through that Big Ten season, being able to face all kinds of different double teams really helped me when it came tournament time.
Yeah, and having Coach Howard, I mean, I could be wrong, but it seems like having a big man coach like that, it's rare in college basketball. It's rare in the NBA as well. That's got to be extremely helpful for your progress and let alone just your experience of handling those situations and next year being able to go in prepare for those double teams, triple teams, and how to, maneuver that tactically.
Yeah, like you said, it's really rare. There's probably less than 10 in the whole country.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that was something that was very unique and something that really interested me when they were recruiting me. And so, yeah, like you said, he really does help me. We try to watch a lot of film together, just me and him, trying to because that's what I really like when it's just me and him because I'm able to ask more questions and just get to talk to him more about what's happening in the games and stuff like that. And every time we end one of those film sessions, I feel really good about myself. I feel really confident going into, the next game and stuff like that. And I just really appreciate him and his knowledge of the game because it's really helped me tremendously.
Yeah, definitely. What are you guys seeing in those film sessions, and especially moving towards this season, like tactically, where you can improve?
Because usually, when we're working out, like in practice and stuff like that, he tries to give me tips, but it's kind of hard because he's trying to focus on so many different things. But
Mhm.
when we're in the film session, he's really able to lock in and key in on just me and what I'm doing. So, he'll be able to tell me about screening angles and, when I get the ball, just staying low, using the crab dribble, telling me where to look when I get the ball, to kind of scan the floor and stuff like that. Just things that he normally can't tell me because he's the head coach, so he's focused on so much other stuff that
Mhm.
when we have those one-on-one sessions, he's able to really kind of key in on what I'm doing and kind of just give me like a couple of tips on every possession, really.
You guys got, well, we mentioned before, an incredible class coming in. You got Devontae Jones, Eli returning, Brandon returning. You know, what have you seen from the team? If certain guys stuck out, like maybe certain lineups, or how you guys are going to mesh and play. Will you think it'll be similar to last year, or a little bit different?
I think it'll be a little bit different. I think this year we're going to be a little bit deeper. I think last year we were probably, limited or like capped out at 8 deep uh,
Mhm.
in big games and stuff like that. I think honestly, I think we can go 11 this year. I think, the talent that we have coming back and that we're bringing in, the freshmen are really good. It's going to be hard for them to stay off the floor. And so I think, Coach Howard's got, really good kind of balance of talent at all different positions. So I think this year it will be a little bit different. We'll be able to sub in a couple more people in each game. And I think that will really help us, especially down the stretch lane of the season. I think we'll be a little bit fresher than we were last year.
Yeah, and it's we played when we played. Coach Bill was always like, I like to keep 8. he even kept 7, some games 6, because he's like, it's hard enough to keep some guys happy and mesh talent and get the right lineups. And 11, 10 is really tough. And, last year you guys didn't play too many guys. It wasn't 10, 11 deep. But you guys had so much talent that, it looked like in the games where you had so many options that you didn't know where to go at times. And I'm wondering if that's something that you focused on, or, going into this season, you guys are trying to, find those pinpoints on offense where you can attack and, your best spots, instead of kind of, you know, looking at each other like, are you going to take it? Because you can take your man. Well, you can take your man too. And then Hunter, you can always take your man down the post. So it's not easy to maneuver when you have so much talent. Everyone thinks it's easy, but is that a focus for you guys this year?
No, you're right for sure. I think last year I think we were really good last year with that.
Yeah.
Like we were. I think the starting five was super talented. I think there's 5 pros in that starting lineup, and
Yeah.
so for us, for it to be able to share the ball like we did last year, I think that was really special for us this year. I think we're not as advanced as we were last year because of the new guys. Like we have so many freshmen that are still trying to find their role, still trying to get accustomed to college basketball and playing with other really good talented guys. So I think it's something that we still are working on. But Coach Howard does a really good job of just making sure that he recruits unselfish players, and so I don't have any worry that when the game time comes, everybody will be unselfish. That's something that he preaches daily, and something that I think players just kind of gravitate towards because that's the kind of person he is, and he gives off that good energy, and so I think players just gravitate towards that.
It seems like a free flowing offense, kind of equal opportunity, free flowing. So it seems like something you can step right into if you're confident enough. With Beeline, we had a very set system, and you had to learn the intricacies of it all, and really take a few months for guys to really pick some stuff up. But as Coach Howard's, to correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems much more of a motion offense where it's like, all right, you got free reign here. You got to make the decision yourself.
Yeah, I think I would say Coach Howard's offense is more of just, kind of a template. He kind of just gives you one set to get everybody organized. I think that's really what the set is about. Just getting people in, spots, making sure the floor is balanced, and then, we'll have our quick little action, whether it's a ball screen or a side screen, down screen, something like that to, get the offense started. And then after that, it's really just playing. He does a really good job of making sure, in practice, we're not just looking at the first option, but we're looking at, the sixth and seventh option, like trying to
Mhm.
get 6 or 7 passes in a possession. So that really forces us to move and kind of move without the basketball and making sure it doesn't stick, getting it from the first side to the second side and stuff like that. Just really kind of making sure that, he's growing our basketball IQs because that's really what he's focused on is, trying to let us play and let us make the plays out there.
Yeah, what I loved about your game, watching you, especially freshman year, the confidence of being able to run down the court. I see you pointing left and right. You're calling for ball screens in transition and semi-transition. Calling for post ups, getting angles. You seem confident right away. You kind of develop that relationship, I think, with Eli and with Mike, and you have that with Eli right now. Are you confident in being able to kind of control the offense from the center position, which is not always easy, especially at such a young age. But also, working on your relationship with Devontae as a new guy, and because you big guys rely on their point guards a lot, you're going to have to rely on them a lot. So developing that
Yeah.
relationship is important. How have you been doing that?
Yeah, like you said, with the confidence, I think I'd have to give that, again to Coach Howard with them film sessions. It's something that we talk about. Like when I'm running down the floor in the games, he'll point out like right here, instead of doing this, you can go and set a chest screen or set a down screen, or go and get that good angle for a ball screen real quick. I think just with them film sessions, he really kind of helps me, and that's things that I'm thinking about during the game, and that helped me during the game. And that's something that we also work on in practice a lot is, you know, doing different things like just working on me, kind of initiating not initiating the offense, but initiating, certain actions and certain motions and stuff like that. I'm working on it in practice on 5 and 0. We spend a lot of time on 5 and 0, and I think that really helps us just get comfortable. And like you said, yeah, I was really comfortable with Mike and Eli last year. I think, just spending a lot of time with them, hanging out with them, getting to know them really helped me on the court because I was really comfortable with them. I was able
Mm.
to talk to them, and with Eli coming back, yeah, that's somebody who I'm really close with, somebody that I love hanging around, and I think we do have that kind of special connection on the court. Devontae is another really good um, person off the court. The short time that I've spent with him so far has been really good. He's great to be around in the locker room, but I think I can say that about everybody on the team.
Sure.
But yeah, especially like you said, big men definitely rely on the point guards. So obviously you kind of have to have that connection with the point guards, and that's something that we're still building. And I'm looking forward to getting to know them even more as
Yeah,
the season goes on.
I'm sure. Have you found yourself to be more vocal this year compared to last?
Yeah, for sure. Last year, I was trying to be more of a follower because, we already had that veteran leadership with, Isaiah, Eli, Austin, even
Mhm.
Mike and Sean D, Franz, guys who have had multiple years of college basketball experience. And so for me, I was just trying to learn behind them and just, kind of follow their footsteps. But now I'm kind of, as it's my second year, but I still feel like I'm one of the leaders on the team, one of the veterans on the team. And so for me, I'm just trying to do what I do what the players before me did for me, and just try to teach the young guys, give them tips and kind of just show them the way, and how Michigan basketball operates and the kind of culture we have here. So yeah, I'm definitely trying to be more vocal this year in practices and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it's a fun spot to be in, but it can be nerve wracking at times. It can be, give you anxiety a little bit. You always have to be on, right? You got to be paying attention to everything. You always got to be on. So have you found yourself, I guess, you mentioned it before, developing more of a practice player where you're paying attention to those details and you're paying attention to everything else. And it's, mentally, at least for me, do you find it to be a lot different than it was last year?
For sure. I got to make sure that I'm locked in at all times because I know players are watching me and watching what I'm doing because, I'm setting an example for the younger players. And so, yeah, this year I'm definitely trying to, be more locked in and, just look more engaged, if anything, because, I feel like I am engaged in practice, but, you got to look the part too. Um, and just kind of set that example for the younger players because they're looking up to you for, what to do really.
A lot of people have you guys at the top of the list winning the Big Ten. Have you guys talked about team goals yet and what this upcoming season wants to look like for you?
No, we haven't talked about team goals, but I think it's pretty understood every year with Coach Howard. The expectation is, a national championship, but of course you have those goals of winning a Big Ten championship, winning a Big Ten tournament championship, being a top five team in the country. Those are things that, every team wants to be. But I think with Coach Howard, I think, the goals are kind of already laid out there every year.
Hmm.
Pretty much, with the kind of class we have and the kind of players that we're bringing back, I think, we'd be selling ourselves short if it was a championship or bust mentality for us. If it wasn't a championship or bust mentality for us.
Right, right. Now I want to get into. It wouldn't be right if I talked to you and didn't talk about some of the Maryland games and like my favorite technical foul the entire year, and Howard's too. What spurned you know that whole thing? Was it the recruiting process? Did they not recruit you coming out of Maryland?
Yeah, I'd say they didn't recruit me as much as I felt like I should have been recruited. I'd say,
Okay.
yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay.
I feel like I feel like I should have been a higher priority to them
Sure.
than I was.
Sure. No, I mean, yeah, you had, your what was the final Michigan, Duke, FSU, Notre Dame. I mean, obviously you think
Yeah,
Maryland would be there. So I understand that motivation. I think I remember a couple of teams, they always, fans are always like, oh, you bet Michigan State games, Ohio State games are crazy. But like against teams that did or did not recruit you, like those are some of the most hype games for you individually. People don't understand that.
yeah. I mean, most teams in the Big Ten didn't recruit me, so like, well, like they didn't even recruit me at all. Like, most like Wisconsin and all them, they didn't even reach out to. I don't really have no bad feel like bad ill feelings towards them. So like I don't really care about that. And then I mean, other schools that did recruit me the Big Ten I turned down. So no, I don't really have too many hard feelings towards too many Big Ten teams. But yeah, no, you are right. Like when a team that didn't recruit you as hard as you thought, it definitely is a more fun game for you.
Oh yeah, big time. And you seem very calm, like for your normal personality, but you get on the court and I see you, flexing, chest bumping. Like, is there something when you cross those lines that turns on?
Yeah, because I think that's part of the game that I really enjoy is that competitiveness, that amped kind of feeling. I think
Yeah.
it makes the game fun for me when I get hyped. I don't want to play it like monotone, like Kawhi Leonard. I couldn't do that. It's not like just going about my business. That's not the kind of player I am. I like to play with my emotions on my sleeve, and that's something that has helped me out and got me this far. So why stop now?
Yeah, you guys seem like you really fed off each other's energy. Like when you guys went on runs, you really went on runs. And I feel like that'll continue next year. But it's, you know, I guess you said before, like you didn't bring that energy into practice before, but now in like a leadership position, are you bringing that game energy to practice now?
I try, I try
It's
as
not
much as
easy.
yeah, no, I try as much as I can. I think the other players on the team do a good job of it. The freshmen are really high energy right now, and so it makes it easy for guys to kind of get engaged and stuff like that. But when you talked about like that, feeding off each other's energy, I think because we're all so close, we all love hanging out with each other. We all try to do stuff together. Like I think it's easy to enjoy each other's success and feed off each other's success. And if Franz was, just dunked on somebody or Mike hit a three, it was easy for me to get excited because, that's one of my best friends, making a three or dunking on somebody. So, obviously I'm gonna be happy for him and, get excited because, I'm happy for their success. So I think this year will be no different.
I feel like you rubbed off on Franz even. He seems so calm. I remember middle of the Big Ten season, he dunked on somebody and got super hyped and flexed. And I was like, what the hell's going on here?
Right,
But
no,
again,
yeah, I try, I try. Yeah, I tried. I think Franz did. I think he definitely did open up a little bit more. But I think Franz was like kind of the opposite. In practice, he was really high emotion, very competitive. If he lost, it would be visibly, um, it was very visible that he was upset. And I think, when he came to the game time, he was kind of a little bit more reserved. So I guess he was kind of the opposite of me. And towards, yeah, like you said, the middle end of the season, he was getting more um, I guess emotionally engaged in
mhm.
game stuff like that. And it was fun for me to see because I was enjoying it.
Yeah, of course. I think everybody did for sure. Now, you guys, you know, with this new year, you had a crazy year last year. You got new rules with NIL this year. I'm wondering if you guys have had conversations between players with all these new rules and how to go about them and like how to pick out opportunities. Like, has that been something you guys have talked about between teammates?
Yeah, we talk about what deals are on um the horizon for us. Like if Jace has something coming up or Adrian or me or Eli. We talk about that kind of stuff. You know, Seeing what we can and can't do. Michigan's not the most free of the universities. They're kind of being a little restrictive on what we can do. Like we can't use the block end for some reason. You think if you play for the university and you make money for them, they would at least let you use their logo and stuff
Right.
or something like that. But they're being hard right now. They're trying to be like the NCAA and kind of hold us back a little bit. But at least they're letting us do something and let us make a little money off our likeness and image. And I'm just happy that these rules were changed while I'm in college, so I can benefit a little bit off it.
How are those conversations going? Like, who are you talking to in the university? Is it just a basketball team? Are they doing full athletes? Do you guys have somebody representing you to talk on your behalf? Like, how are those conversations going? Can you paint a picture for me?
Yeah, so I have somebody who is advising me and helping me out with stuff like that. If somebody sends me a contract or something like that, or somebody sends me a DM on Instagram, I'll send it to them, and they'll kind of guide me and give me helpful insight on stuff. And then if I want to do something, if I want to take advantage of an opportunity, you got to send an email to Michigan's compliance, and they have like a form that you have to fill out about like just a couple questions basically, and then they'll give you an email back saying if you can or can't do it. I think it's pretty pointless. I don't really care what they have to say, but you got to send the email and make
Sure.
sure you're in compliance with what they have to say. But I guess I don't know if everybody's following that. At least I am. But
Yeah.
that's what you got to do for Michigan, I guess. Is yeah, they got a little email that you send to compliance, and they'll email you back if it's uh, again, like if it's against the NCAA rules or the Michigan rules.
Now, is there like an ongoing conversation? Does it seem like eventually they'll figure out and release rights to use the Block M, or it seems like they just put up a wall and say like, no thanks?
I think eventually they're going to have to relinquish it because so many other universities are allowing college athletes to use the logo, and so I think it's just a matter of time. Just like in the NCAA, it was just a matter of time before they let players make money off their image and likeness.
Yeah.
Um, eventually they'll have to give up, but right now, they're playing a little bit of hardball, so we'll let them have their little moment.
I imagine, for their sake, it's interesting to figure out like payment. Now, are the other schools like if they use their logo, or like if you put a logo on your jersey, like the Block M, are they getting a cut of that then? Is that like kind of what they're working for?
I'm not sure with every school. I know for some schools, I think that's not the case. I think they just allow the players to use it freely, but I'm not sure how every university's rules are with that.
Have you guys had conversations? I guess has Coach Howard come in and had conversations with you, or has that kind of been like off to the side a little bit? Because I know, especially in college basketball, the culture of distractions, like everything is a distraction outside of the court, when really it's not the case. Now, have you guys, tried to tackle that as a group? Has he had talks with you?
I've had talks with him personally. He's been really, really open to everything. He's really because I think he can kind of sympathize for us because he knows how much like he would have made given this same opportunity when he was in college, with the
Right.
Fab Five and stuff like that. So I think he's really open and on our side when it comes to NLI stuff. He like I really appreciate what he's doing for us and his openness because he could easily been less um, sympathetic for us with our NLI opportunities and stuff like that. But I really appreciate him, and that's something that I've come accustomed to is his unselfishness and ability just to um, connect with his players and stuff like that.
Do I have this right that Jace was the first Barstool like signee for like being represented? Was that right?
For Michigan, I think so. They reached out to me. I told them because I don't know if I don't think we're technically allowed to partner with Barstool because they're owned by Penn National and they're a gambling company, and so I think Michigan's one of Michigan's rules is you can't be sponsored by um, any gambling companies, and
Huh.
I technically he's never I don't think he's really allowed to be one right now, and but I think with Barstool, Dave obviously is a guy, and
Yeah.
when we're in contact. I think we're going to have something um, put together before the season. I think with just me and him because I don't think we're allowed to do anything with Barstool, but I would definitely
Gotcha.
like to try to do something with him.
What's
And
can you give like a like a little hint of what that would be?
I honestly don't even know yet. We're trying to figure that out. Trying to bounce ideas off and brainstorm and trying to see, what would be something that would be really hype for next year.
What's the deal with the gaming thing? Is that like a Michigan law or the
I
universities?
think I think it's a Michigan University rule. I'm not
Gotcha.
sure if it. I don't think it's a Michigan State law. I think it's a Michigan University law.
Now, I guess I'm trying to just figure this out on the fly here, talking with you. And like, how does it look, I guess, being on your own or being contacted by someone like Barstool and these different agencies? Like, have you had to fight that off on your own, or you kind of pinpointed someone to advise you and be your go-to person for that, like from the beginning?
Yeah, no, it was definitely hard to try to find like an not an agent but like a marketing team because you don't really know like you don't really have a connection like with any marketing team really, and like it was kind of like picking an agent all over again for me. When I was testing the waters, trying to pick an NCAA certified agent to go with. I know that process was really hard, and you just want to you just want to make the right decision. And it's kind of hard because, like with college, you're able to visit the universities and really get a feel and kind of get a better sense. But with these guys, it's really a Zoom call, and you kind of have to make a decision from there amongst like five different agencies and stuff like that. So for me, that was kind of the hardest part. But now that I have my guy advising me, I really, you know, um, just kind of appreciate it because he knows a lot about a lot of things, and so
Yeah.
he's been really helpful for me in terms of just guiding me in this process, and just looking out for my best interest.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to imagine like a commercial shoot in the middle of the year, like some opportunity comes up. Are you open for that? Have you guys talked about that at all, or like maybe shutting some stuff down, like in terms of those instances?
Yeah, I was probably thinking about trying to do more stuff before the season, and then during the season, not doing as many like appearances and stuff like that. And, trying like maybe doing a post here and there, but not trying to do too much stuff. Trying to make sure I'm focusing on the main goal, which is on the court success. But if something comes up that is irresistible, then I might have to take it. But that's not the plan right now. The plan is to try to be as successful as I can on the court.
Sure. No, that makes a lot of sense. Now, talk to me about you've sort of, would you say partnered with the Players Trunk?
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah, you got the Big Dickinson Energy shirts and gear. That's a
yeah.
very good 21st century meme play on words there. I like that one. That seemed like a pretty easy pick for you.
Oh yeah, no, we got some more stuff dropping. Probably when I'm done with this interview, I'll probably drop some more stuff, some more shirts, and we got something else coming out today too. But we got something big on the horizon. Another big um, item that will be making its appearance. Um, Hopefully, before, or definitely before the start of the season, but hopefully in a month or so that will make its appearance, and I think definitely take the social media world by storm real quick.
Oh, shoot. I'm guessing you can't really hint at that one. It's just going to be coming out in a month.
Yeah, yeah, I don't want to hint at that one.
All right.
I've only told a handful of people about this one, but
All
I
right.
I I, I think it's going to take, I think it's going to go viral. I think a lot of people enjoy it and think it's funny, but we'll see.
I love it. I love pushing the boundaries. That's always my favorite, especially if college athletes get that confidence. So I appreciate that about you. I'm excited to see what that is.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can find it at the Players Trunk. How's that been going? So far with gear and sales and everything.
It's been great because Jason Lansing was a manager at Michigan, and so we already had a really good connection. I already talked to him, regularly, and so for me and him, it's we're on the phone like every other day. It feels like trying to come up with new ideas on how we can just take advantages, analyze stuff, and just make as much merchandise and as we can, and just make sure we're making quality stuff that people will enjoy and people will buy and stuff like that. So it's been really fun for me because it's like a little side hustle, I guess, but it's fun because I really I kind of like the brand that I'm making right now, the Big Dickinson Energy, is something that I think is fun and funny, and something that I think has a lot of potential in the future.
Yeah, no, it's after I had my college career and then my playing career afterwards, and I never got to. I mean, I guess I could have set something up like this, but it would have been much easier with my time and my image in college to really set up this sort of side hustle. And you learn about business, you make connections, you learn how to talk to people on that side of things. So I feel like it's really a great learning tool that you just aren't going to get otherwise. And now that you guys get that, like everyone wants to talk about the money, but really that whole experience has to be invaluable as well.
Yeah, for sure. The experience of just being able to kind of like have your own bit, like I have my own business. I have my own LLC right now. So yeah, being
Right.
able to do that at such a young age is, I think, really invaluable for young kids, and to be able to learn about taxes and stuff like that. Making sure you got to save your money. Not blow it all. Like if you get a $5,000 check, you got to put at least half of it away for taxes because when April comes around, you're gonna have to pay the government, stuff like that. So just being able to teach kids real world experiences while they're still in college, I think is something that's not looked at enough, and I think something that's very undervalued that will really benefit young kids for their future.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's really, I'm glad it's happening and you seem like you're maneuvering it really well. I want to, get a few more minutes of your time here. I want to talk about your summer here and sort of your process of entering the draft and then coming back to Michigan. Um, you know, you tested those waters and ultimately decided to come back. Was the NIL stuff, NLI stuff, a key factor in that, as well as that sour taste in your mouth from losing to Michigan? But talk to me about your return to Michigan and sort of your process that you went through.
Yeah, when I first declared for the NBA draft, I felt like I was ready for the NBA. I felt like, that was something that, has been a goal of mine for so long. And I felt like I had the opportunity to, test the waters and still be able to come back. So I thought it was a no-brainer for me to at least try. And, I felt like I was good enough. And like what I had to hear to stay was probably, like a late first round pick. I didn't want to be a second round pick. And, he was fine with that. And I try to stay kind of truthful to what I said. I said I wasn't going to come out if I was going to be a second round pick, and so that's what NBA teams were telling me. They said, middle to late second round, and so for me, I didn't want to have to kind of, you know, be worried about like my contract situation and stuff like that and where I was going to go. I just felt like, another year of um, Michigan basketball, like I had fun last year, and to be able to experience a real year was something that, was really kind of pushing me to come back. I wanted to have that kind of real experience of being able to go to in-person classes and, like actually look at my professors when they're teaching me and, being around my classmates, being able to actually feel like I attended the University of Michigan and not just be a basketball player there is something that was really kind of big for me and what a major factor for me. But like you said, the NLI stuff was another important factor. Being able to make money off your image and likeness. Not making like seven figures or anything like that, but being able to just live comfortably while you're in college, not have to worry about you know can I afford to go out to eat tonight or something like that. But
Mhm.
being able to go and just live a little bit more comfortably was big for me. And I think the NLI definitely had something to do with it. I think it had it'll be something that gravitates players to stay in college or even go to college and not go overseas or stuff like that. So I think the NLI affected my decision, and I think it'll affect other people's decisions in the future.
Yeah, it's funny. People complain about the one and done situation and the talent losing talent to the NBA, and then they also want to complain about the NLI stuff. And it's like it's going to help players stay in college,
Yeah,
it's going to help talent grow within the college pool. Like I don't, it's nobody's going to be super happy with everything when it comes to paying college athletes. But yeah, it's always been a frustration of mine. We saw Luke Garza go late in the second round, and his really great college career. Like, where do you see yourself being able to separate from, being pigeonholed in that kind of Luke Garza category? Even though I think he'll be fine in the NBA, or definitely can be, but wanting to be drafted higher in that first round, where do you think you can separate yourself?
yeah. I hate when people compare me to like other like
It
players.
sucks. It sucks. I apologize for it.
No, no, that's fine. Like, like you aren't the first one. So like I don't really like when people compare me. I feel like, I'm my own player. Like when NBA teams would say like, who do you model your game after? Like, I don't really model my game after anybody. Like,
Right.
I watch people play and I'll take, maybe one thing from one player, but I'm not trying to, like totally imitate one or two players. But, I think, just my game in general, I think having Coach Howard be my coach and, put me in NBA situations as a college player and being able to showcase what I can do in an NBA offense in college and how that will translate to NBA team, I think will really help me um, and just the development of being with Coach Howard. I think NBA teams are taken note of that, and I think that was something that will definitely help me come time next year when I'm trying to get drafted.
Will we see you doing more pick and pops, shooting some more threes next year?
That's the plan. Right now, that's definitely my plan and my goal for next year.
Were you shooting threes? You had a couple NBA workouts. Were you shooting threes in those?
Yeah, I was shooting a lot, but
Nice.
that's something I definitely worked on over the
Yeah.
season. I mean, over the summer. I spent a lot of time and a big emphasis on that. So that's something that I wanted to showcase when I was testing the waters, and that's something that I'm showcasing now.
Is there anything else you want to improve on basketball wise, or just kind of sharpen everything up?
Something another big emphasis of mine is using my right hand. It's
Mm.
a big, uh, I guess, area of improvement for me. Is I think um, just trusting it is the biggest thing. Trying to use it in practice as much as I can is something that I've really been working on in practice recently. Is just using it whenever I can, just to gain that confidence that Coach Howard is talking about with using it.
I can imagine you have the biggest chip on your shoulder. You already talked about how you fuel your fire with, recruitment or, whatever it may be, and not being invited to the combine's got to be one of the biggest fuels that you've had in your career.
Yeah, I was pretty upset when that happened, but like you said, I do feel like I have a chip on my shoulder this year, and I'm just excited for the season. I'm really excited. I can't wait to, start playing again and show the world what I've been working on over the summer.
Hunter Dickinson with something to prove, it seems like a very scary thing for opponents. I would not want to face that, to be honest. We're going to get you out of here. We got, usually I'm asking guys, older guys about, I sent them off with two questions. One of them was about Skeeps and Ricks, but you being underage and not being able to go out, I'll refrain from asking you that. Um, for the record, it's been Skeeps all the way. So I'm just going to go ahead and put you in the Skeeps category. But to send this interview off, maybe not, but send this interview off. Usually I ask guys, what's the number one thing they learned at their time at Michigan? You're not done there, but what is something that you picked up in your short time there that you think will stick with you for your career?
I think it's, I'd say the work ethic in practice for me. I think that's something that, I've said earlier in the interview, but I think that's the biggest area of improvement for me, and something that I was really proud of was, taking practice more seriously, and trying to get something out of it. Coach Howard's always talking about that 1% each day. It's a famous quote that a lot of people try to use, but that's
Mhm.
something that I try to really focus on. Is just each time we go out there, just trying to give it my all and not kind of take a step back, but always just taking steps forward, trying to get better in multiple ways, and just trying to improve myself each and every day. And that's something that I think I've really learned from Coach Howard, is that taking practice and working on focusing on the details of each practice and each thing that you do in life.
Makes sense. Really good advice. Hunter, I appreciate it, man. Really appreciate you taking the time. Excited for this season to start, and best of luck.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Take it easy.
See you.